Hello and welcome to day 4 of our 12 Days of Whiskey. I'm joined by Mr. Luke John himself.
Konnichiwa.
And today, we're proud to hopefully announce that this is an English whiskey, unlike day 3. So today we are looking at Bimber. Now, Bimber is based in North London, Acton area. They're not a big distillery. They have a 1,000 litre capacity. They take all their barley from one farm. So a single farm supplies their barley, which is local. But when you talk about London, I don't know how local is local. Could be 50 miles away, whatever else it is. They go via the traditional method where they do floor malting. They mash by hand. They are keeping traditional methods the whole way through. Part of the reason why is the actual owner is from Poland, and he has a family background where they were making spirits, not whiskey per se, but spirits. So his family were making moonshine products, I would say, and he has brought that across to London, making artisanal products that way. And that's why it's called Bimber, because the word Bimber is moonshine in Polish. So today we're looking at a special one of theirs. We're looking at a Bimber that has been aged in an Imperial Stout cask.
Yep.
That Imperial Stout cask was supplied by
BB&O, Brew by Numbers.
Yep. Also London-based, so they've had a collaboration. Collaboration went the other way, where they made some Imperial Stout that's aged in whiskey barrels. So Bimber itself is quite young, established in 2016. First whiskey released in 2019. This edition is one of their limited editions, but it's probably worthwhile saying that most of Bimber's editions are small limited editions. They are not cheap because it is very handmade, the whole process. As it is a handcrafted, artisanal, as a local farm. And also you got that London inflation element to it because of the cost of doing any business in the capital at that stage, like the craft breweries. There was something else I was thinking about this one.
I'm not sure what you were thinking about, but for me personally, I'm really excited for this one. I love my barrel-aged Imperial Stouts. A huge lover of all things that, so it's quite nice to actually find a whiskey that does the reverse. I'm astounded by that. You don't see many of this type on the market at all, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's kind of energized me through this 12 days of whiskey because, not only is it Bimber, it's London, Southern Softies, but, it's kind of, they are an exclusive brand, I would say. It's kind of club, limited edition, small batch, handcrafted. It's everything you want in that little term, artisanal, and this is what we have.
Yeah, I think what you're saying there about clubs. So this one was officially one that was released for Bimber Club, which obviously you have to be a member of. You can buy them outside of the club, which I've done, bought this outside of the club. But if you are looking to purchase something like this, you are looking for putting down a bit of a hefty wedge, 150 to 180 pounds potentially.
Yeah.
I was slightly luckier to pick this up at a lower price, but that's just timing and how things work out sometimes. Some of the releases that are available to the public, they're very pricey. Their biggest releases that are available to the public now tend to be the Underground series, where they are releasing whiskies with art designs to do with underground stations on the London Tube network. and those bottles are going for like £450 plus. So it's a very pricey element. So this is quite, I'm not going to say a rare one, but it's unlikely for you to come across this in the wild. And it's not something I would say is on the, I'm going to have an easy glass of something because of the price point. That's all I'm thinking. It is the highest priced one that we have.
Yeah, I mean,
on this.
So for me and my personal view on whiskey is price point doesn't really come into it, especially on things like this. Limited edition, something totally unique and different. I always think it's always well worth a little stab in the dark at it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We will do exactly the same as we've done in the previous days. We will take a first sip, review it, a second sip, review, and then the third we will add a pipette of water just to see if it changes any characteristics of the whiskey.
Cool. So first up, let's take a nose of this. Let's see what we're dealing with.
Oh, yes, baby.
You're getting straight away.
I am getting straight away barrel-aged stout, big style, lovely on the nose. I'm getting chocolate, I'm getting fruit, I'm getting everything that's brilliant. Oh, yes.
It smells good. I forgot that we've even skipped looking at the color of it at this stage. I was so interested in going for a whiff of it. Now it's non-chill filtered. I know that. They've said that. So I am expecting some particulate matter perhaps in there. It's a bit cloudy. Actually, it's quite clear, I would say.
It's probably a lot more clearer in the glass now that there's a light directly under it.
Yeah.
But in the bottle, it's very much probably the darkest one that we've had to date.
Yes.
But that isn't necessarily a bad thing.
That chocolate malt. It's like chocolate malt. That's what it smells like. Although there's not chocolate malt in this, it's the barrel that's added that.
Yeah, this has kind of taken me to very happier times when I used to drink a lot of beer and review it on my channel. But it's kind of taken me to the Durham Brewery, the Tartarus type of higher ABV, 13 to 15%. Usually with the weaker ones, on the nose especially, it can kind of be a little bit diluted. But yeah, this is just on the nose already. I am ecstatic to get into it, because if it's as good as what it is on the nose, then...
Well, I think from what I read, the idea is they sent their barrels to Brew by Numbers, who put their Imperial Stout in, which was about 11% from what I read. And then once that was done, comes back, they add it in. 11% Imperial is a proper Imperial.
Yes.
There we go. We are looking at an Imperial. We're not looking at something at 8% claiming it's an Imperial. We're looking at something that is 11% proper Imperial Stout. I'm saying Imperial, but Imperial Stout, yeah.
A proper Imperial Stout that's going to warm your cockles up in the cold days of winter.
So I'm looking forward to this. Everyone, have a good time out there. Cheers, Luke.
Cheers up. Cheers up.
Ooh. So straight up, you can tell the bourbon cask. It's an ex-bourbon cask to begin with for the first, I'm assuming 3 years period maybe, and then it goes into the Imperial Stout. You get quite it's very drying whiskey, I would say. But it's not massive on the heat, a gentle heat that disappears. But my God, does the Imperial come through at that stage of the end for me?
Yeah, it's kind of, you get this lovely heat right on the lips. Then it passes through the tongue. It kind of builds slightly in the middle, then dissipates at the end. The Imperial element to it, it's toasty, roasty, coffee, chocolatey, biscuity, a little bit of hazelnut. It's kind, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, that chocolate and the roast is the big takeaway for me. But you have to go through, I know it sounds weird, for the first sip, you have to go through the first sort of bourbon style where it has that drying element, a bit of heat. But after that, oh my God, the impy comes through. I'm hoping for a much better second sip on this one.
Yeah. I think we will. We talk a lot in the world of whiskey about things being chalky, and often it kind of takes away from whiskey. For me, this isn't chocolatey, it's more biscuity. So you kind of got a little bit more crumb within the texture as well as the flavour. So although it's, it is quite thick, it's not a thin whiskey at all by any means. It's got this nice oil slick, kind of what you would expect an Imperial Stout to be. Nice, thick, sumptuous, kind of over the top type of thing. Yeah, just on the first sip, that to me is amazing.
Don't forget with this one, we're looking at 51% or just over 51%. So it is the strongest one we're having so far as well. I'm going for my second sip.
Yep.
Oh, can't help but take a sniff of that. It's beautiful.
Fit. So for me, yeah, it's developed. Now it's a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit more of a hit. This takes me to kind of the category of Durham Brewery Temptation, which is one of their highest ABV Imperial Stouts that they do. And it's just delicious. At the minute, my mouth is kind of quelching. It's salivating. It's like, it definitely wants a lot more.
For me, this takes me back to the brew by numbers that's been brewed in Imperial Object. I don't think I've had that one. Yeah, that is a bit more heat on the second taste brew, which is perfectly fine. I felt like it was not lacking, but the heat was only at the front of the tongue. This is a bit more heat that goes with it. But as you said, the oils on this, it coats the inside, it gets you salivating, but it just, because it's so oily, and I always find this with ones that are cask strength or above, in a sense, there's more oils I find. And with those oils, it layers the inside of the mouth and it just leaves that flavor there for longer.
Yeah.
So that roast and that chocolate is just hanging around, and it's so delicious to, you can go for another sip, but you can just enjoy what's in the mouth that's just there. You don't
That's what she said.
You don't need to go for another sip. So it's one of those ones that you can sip and enjoy.
Yeah.
But the test now comes, because this is the first one where we actually have something that is, I would say, edging towards cask strength. I know cask strength is, I would more say, like, higher than that, but this is an ABV that we're going towards it. And the oils that have lined our mouth, this is where that pipette of water is going to, I feel, have an impact.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sat here and I'm kind of puckering my cheeks in. That flavour of the whiskey is still there. Liam mentioned it, that little oil slick, that little bit of mouthfeel that you want. It's still there, and I'm just like, my taste buds are really looking for it again. It's great, but like we said, let's just get into the what. I'm just really happy at that. So
It's an English whiskey. There we go.
it's an English whiskey, and
Yeah. I mean, I can understand the price of this, because the barrel's been loaned out and then come back in again. And so you're losing what you could have stored it in that time.
on the price point, so straight away for me, it is definitely well worth the money. One of my favourite whiskies is the Dalmore 18, or even the KR that's under the third at this point. And that is around a similar price point, but it's not as unique as what this is offering in terms of on the palate and the style and just the uniqueness of having an Imperial Stout cask, I think. So, I mean, so far for me, just on the price point, just go and get it. But
I mean, I'm getting a lot more chocolate.
oh yes,
A lot more chocolate. It's developed. The oils have like mixed and separated with the water there, and that is.
you know what I'm getting? I'm getting chocolate nibbles, chocolate peanut. That is so good.
It smells so rich in chocolate.
Yeah.
This is the strange and bizarre thing, isn't it, in the world of whiskey and how the flavors can impart in. And we always talk about like the wood is a major factor, but what was in the wood before is the biggest factor. We've done the virgin oak on day 2, which obviously means that you're going to get more like what bourbon is, because they always use virgin oak, and we know that's the pepperiness. But when you soak the wood in something and then you put your whiskey in, it pulls it in. That's why we have those sherries, the ports, and then obviously pre-bourbon ones as well, or other whiskey ones, and then you bring those in. So some places use ex-peated whiskey ones. They don't put peated whiskey in, but it gets some of that smoke particles in. And it just, how over the time, the breathing of the cask as it warms up and cools down, which we will talk in another episode about warm and cooling.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to be sure. Let's just get into it, because
Yeah, let's go.
ooh,
Wait for that heat to run through. Get salivating.
straight off the bat, heat ramped up.
Yeah.
Acetone level ramped up. Sweetness in terms of chocolate diluted, but the roasted coffee effect on bitter chocolate is amplified slightly just on the finish for me.
I would say I prefer the nose of it with water added, but I prefer the overall taste of it without water being added. This turned, it brought out more of the actual oak. So it was the pepperiness, the heat that goes with it. We're looking at 51%. They said it did dilute that chocolate. It wasn't as sweet as the first taste. It's still good, but nose-wise, amazing. But I prefer it with.
I've got nothing in my glass and it still smells good.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's worth every little penny.
Yeah.
It is worth every little penny. If you can find it, get it. If you can't find it, I mean, you're really missing out. And hopefully, if Bimber see this, or Brew by Numbers, then you definitely need to collab a little bit more and get more of these out to the people.
Oh, it'd be great if Bimber done more releases like this with breweries in London. They're not, Brew by Numbers aren't the only one doing MP stouts, and there are others out there. It would be great to do more like this. I believe this is the only one they've done. It's a limited edition run. This is from 2022, so I don't know what part of the year, but maybe we're looking at nearly 2 years ago. So it is limited. I'm just looking. This bottle 1,650. What was it? Was about 2,500? I think that were made.
No, so this is 1,650 bottles. We've bottle number 237.
There we go. I misread that.
Yeah, I'm enthused about it. Please let us know if you've had it. If you haven't had it, please try and find it and let us know. Yeah.
Yeah, and a call out to Bimber. Make another like this and open it to the public in general. It's a brilliant example of infused whiskey.
Yeah, and on that note, I'm going to take this. I'm going to leave him, and maybe I'll catch you on the next one. If I'm not,
See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.
Bye.